Welcome to the Unicorn Millionaire Podcast, where we celebrate financial empowerment and pride all year long. I'm your host, Charly Stoever, a non-binary Latinx money coach who's traveled solo to over 34 countries while helping my first-gen LGBTQIA+ and BIPOC community invest in the stock market and themselves. From my journey as a formerly undocumented Mexican American to diving into the world of finance as a stockbroker, I've learned firsthand the importance of financial independence and how you can be anti-capitalist while investing. I said what I said. Through my podcast, I share empowering stories and drop gems on gems, from how to be a Roth IRA freak to buying your first home. I started this podcast because I didn't see anybody like me talking about how to take advantage of capitalism. Whether you're tuning in for financial wisdom, wellness tips, or just to hear about my travels, I keep it real, fabulous, and magical. Subscribe to the Unicorn Millionaire Podcast and leave me a 5-star review. We're here, we're queer, and we're building wealth juntos, juntas, y juntes. Let's get into it. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Unicorn Millionaire Podcast. I'm super excited to be here at my second FinCon with my amazing internet friends who I met half of them last year at FinCon. I met Jess, and then I met Brandon online. I was on the Sugar Daddy podcast recently, so now I'm excited to have this magical unicorn with this fabulous unicorn-themed dress on my podcast. So we're going to get into the topic of where to store your cash, what not to do, how Venmo is ghetto, how you should not be storing your cash at Venmo. This is a public health crisis. Could you both introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thanks, Charly, for having us. And I dressed for the occasion. You're welcome. So I'm Jessica. My husband and I have the Sugar Daddy Podcast, and it's financial literacy for elder millennials. So we are a little bit older than you. I know you just celebrated.
Like geriatric millennials.
Yeah. That is so rude. Elder. We prefer the term elder. Okay?
You'll be there soon enough.
That's right. That's right.
I did turn 35 yesterday.
I mean, you're approaching.
Okay,
you're approaching. So we do financial literacy for elder millennials and focus on money and marriage. And just as an aside, I am the sugar daddy.
Woo!
Woo! But I'll let you introduce yourself, babe.
I am Brandon. I am not the sugar daddy. But we do have our financial literacy podcast, and I'm also a financial advisor. So I kind of bring the expert view to our podcast while she asks a lot of the questions that everyone out there is asking.
The normal non-finance people would ask. Mm-hmm. We try to just normalize the conversation. It's a lot of fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Our episode together was so great.
Oh,
it was so fun.
I know. I recorded it in Italy when I was out in Europe for 3 months backpacking.
Living your very best non-American life.
Sounds terrible.
You know. We do what we can to survive the apocalypse.
Oh, so. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're going to keep it non-apocalyptic.
So with that in mind, I remember you talk about how some of your most viral reels have been about Venmo and how people store their cash at Venmo. So can we talk about why that's so fucked up to do that?
Yes. So don't save your money in Venmo. It's very simple. You can put money there and transfer it to a friend and do a quick transaction.
You don't even have to put money there. You can transfer it straight from your bank account.
Literally.
Well, also that. But people are literally using it as a bank. Mm-hmm. Venmo is not a bank. PayPal is not a bank. Cash App is not a bank. None of these apps are banks. They are not FDIC insured. Your money is not protected there. And I actually have a really close friend who keeps thousands of dollars in her Venmo, and she calls it her fun money. And I've straight up told her, when that money just randomly disappears and you don't know where it went and you can't get it back, you will no longer be having fun.
Have you seen that happen before?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I know a few people who have kept way too much money on Venmo and got hacked, and it was gone. And the thing is I don't know from a personal experience because it's never happened to me because I don't do that, but it doesn't seem as though the customer service behind actually solving the issue and getting the money back is there. So kind of once it's gone, good luck getting it back.
Yeah, and in that video, the viral one, people were in the comments and they were saying, yes, like I had my money there and it disappeared and they did nothing and now I'm out, $500, $2,000, whatever it was. Your money is just not safe there, so stop using it like a bank.
So let's talk about the safety of it. When you say FDIC insured, what does that even mean? Is it a certain dollar amount, or what should people even be looking for when they look at if a bank is FDIC insured?
You want me to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, I have an answer.
So
but
so basically, it's insurance for your money. So with most banks, up to $250,000 across all the accounts you may have there is insured in the sense of if something were to happen, you are going to have your money. Like even if the bank went under, the government is going to give you back at least up to $250,000.
So if you have more than $250,000 at one institution, you should split that up.
I should have prefaced that as a single individual. So if you are like, a couple, a married couple, because technically you would have to be married because that's how they would look at it. If you have up to $500,000, $250,000 each. Now there are some other types of banks that do actually have higher FDIC insurance, but for the most part, most of it's going to be $250,000 as an individual.
Oh, so there's the banks for the billionaires, probably.
Basically.
Okay. We'll get there soon.
But you can see it on, any of the major bank platforms. Like if you look for the FDIC insurance information, it's kind of front and center. It'll be somewhere on the homepage. It'll be somewhere on the home screen of your app. So if it doesn't say that, there's a reason, because your money is not safe.
Yeah, and your cash on hand, like it should always be at an institution that is FDIC insured. Period.
Why do you think people store so much money in these places?
Ease. I think with being able to easily hop on your phone, hop on an app, even though a lot of the banks obviously have apps, it's much easier to move money here. And I think also people just get lazy.
Or they don't know, just a lack of education. Because even in that viral reel, I had people in the comments saying, what does FDIC mean? A lot of people don't trust the insurance because, again, it routes back to the government, right? So it's like, no, we can't trust our government anyways. So why would I trust a bank that's FDIC insured? So people just feel like, what does it matter? And I'll keep my money under my mattress or in Cash App or in Venmo. Like, they don't care. They don't get it.
It's this attitude of what's the point anyway that's really sad and depressing, whether it comes to saving for retirement or just being on top of your finances. It just makes me sad that people are like, what does it matter anyway? And it's so depressing.
It's sad.
Well, for me, that's a hard view to. I'm not gonna. So if it's some mental health aspect behind that, then I can understand that. But if that's not the case, that's the lazy way out. In some aspects, I think that could be a cop-out for actually wanting to educate yourself and learn the right way to do it. What's it matter? I think that can be a cop-out for people sometimes.
Yeah, I also think that people have no awareness. I've had clients who had a random $2K sitting in Venmo that they didn't even really know they had, or they didn't consider it as cash on hand, like you said. It's just extra money floating around.
Play money.
Play money. But I'm like, unless you own a house outright and are maxing out 30.5K at least in both of your retirement accounts, then you don't have play money. Like, I don't consider myself to have play money yet.
And Venmo's fine to use as a means of transferring money, paying for things, whatever it may be, but you just shouldn't store it there once you receive it. Because I use Venmo for certain things, but I don't store any money on Venmo. If I'm going to pay someone from Venmo, it's because it's coming straight out of my bank account. It's not because the money's already sitting on within Venmo.
Yeah. I only have a penny in my checking accounts at a time, so they don't close due to inactivity. But today I had to Zelle my friend $18 for a lunch. We went to a Mexican restaurant called Ghetto here in Portland. It was amazing food. Shout out to Ghetto. And I had to transfer $18 from my high yield savings at CIT to my checking account, and then from there did the Zelle thing just to reinforce the habit that your money needs to be growing in a high yield savings account. So I think that's the habit that I'm building, no matter how much money is in my account, because I think a lot of people don't open these interest generating accounts because they're like, what does it matter? I don't have that much cash anyway. But I remember having $500 in my high yield savings at a time last year when I lived in Mexico with the low cost of living. This year I've definitely increased my cash to about $20K at a time when Trump took office, because the stock market started doing crazy shit. But I didn't have to be like, oh, where should I open a high yield savings account? I just continued that habit.
Yeah. Well, and if people are like, well, why does it matter? It matters because you're making no money with your money sitting in a regular savings account. And we've made $1,800 in our high yield savings because we're getting anywhere from like on the low end 3.8 to 4.5%. It depends. So you're going to park your money somewhere. You're not getting anything for it in Venmo or Cash App or PayPal. And you could be getting 4%, 4.5% at an Ally or at a Wealthfront or, you know, a couple of other places, and put your money where your money's going to work for you.
I mean, I challenge that thought process of why does it matter once again. It's like, if that's your thought process, then nothing's going to really matter, because I think sometimes someone who says, why does it matter, is the same person that's like, I want to get paid more at work. Well, if I told you we're going to get a 0.02% raise or a 4% raise, which one do you want? That's the difference between you being in a standard savings account and a high yield savings account. So like they need to change their thought process. And I have a really hard time dealing with people that when your response is, what does it matter? Like that's a hard one for me to deal with, because that means I have to change everything about the way you think about things. And it's what you're showing me is that maybe you don't want to change that thought process, because as you know, being a coach and working with people, they have to come to the table to meet you there. Like you can't force someone to come to the table to work on what they need to if they don't already have that mindset that I need to change something.
But I think so much of that, what does it matter, that's rooted in trauma. Like it has to be, right? Yeah. Like you've been scammed, you've been conned, you've lost money, you've got trust issues. Like that is not a normal response. If I'm telling you like people are making thousands of dollars or $500 or $40 in their high yield accounts a year, a month, a week, whatever, and your response is, oh, why does it matter?
That's also wanting to do the work.
Where is that coming from?
That's also
you need to dig in and like
even
understand
therapy,
why.
Working through your issues, maybe past money issues from a therapy standpoint, is not going to work unless you are ready to do the work.
It's true. It's true.
I like how our Venmo's Ghetto talk turned real quick into get some therapy.
Listen, it will always come back to therapy.
It's your trauma.
It's your trauma.
It's your daddy issues, mommy issues.
All the above.
We don't have daddy issues at the Sugar Daddy Podcast, though.
You help people fix theirs.
That's right. We fix the daddy issues here.
I love that. New tagline.
Yeah, right? Daddy will fix it. Ooh, I love that. Do we need a rebrand?
Yes. That's why we come to FinCon.
That's right.
Blow each other's minds.
Exactly. All the ideas are flowing. Hashtag Daddy will fix it.
Yep. So what? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, so you keep your high yield money at CIT?
Yeah, but I haven't closed my Ally high yield savings accounts. I'm not a type of person that's like, if I'm paying for it, why close it? Just in case something happens
you can
with
move
CIT.
Money. Yeah, we've had CIT in the past.
Yeah.
I didn't until this year when I went from having like $500 in cash at a time at Ally, and then when Trump took office and the stock market started doing his thing because he was intentionally manipulating the stock market with the tariffs. This thing just happened from thin air so that his rich friends could make money. That's when I decided, I should keep more than $5K in cash at a time. And so then I opened a CIT high yield savings. I also did it because I would confuse a lot of my clients, where it was do as I say, not as I do, where I'd show them my Ally accounts and then they'd mistakenly open Ally accounts when they had $50K sitting in cash. And I'm like, no, Ally is for me. You have more than $5K. Because if you open a free high yield savings at CIT, they give you a sweet interest rate if you have $5K in cash or more. So that's the minimum threshold. If you have less than that, you get a crappy interest rate. So that's why I was like, let me just stay
interesting. So what's your interest rate?
With Ally? Right now, I think it's at 3.8.
Oh,
interest
so
rates fluctuate at CIT.
At CIT.
I have a penny in my Ally accounts at a time.
What I've seen, because I've used CIT before, and this is just me, like, based off of feelings. Like, I feel,
Vibes.
I don't have like data to back it up, but I feel as though that Ally, when interest rates fluctuates, they stay a little bit more steady, and I think I see a little bit more of a variation with CIT.
Oh, okay.
I'm not, like I said, I don't have the data to back that up, but from when I was using it and looking at it, that's what I felt like was happening.
But I still feel like it's consistently higher at CIT, despite the fluctuations. Like, it is always higher than Allies.
We haven't dipped below 4 at Wealthfront, which is not a high yield. It's just a high...
It's a money market.
Yeah. So it's like, but we're always somewhere between 4 and 4.5, and then we have a referral code there, and that will get us an extended 4.5 for like 3 months at a time, which, I mean, that's been like 2 years now, so that's nice.
What do you say to people that ask, well, where should I start? Which is the best high yield savings account to open?
I say Ally is the easiest. It's
pick one.
also it's one of the OGs. Like it's one of the original ones, and
I love their buckets.
yes,
You can make buckets, which are really nice.
because that's not an option available in all high yield savings accounts.
So if you're saving for that vacation, like I just went to Mexico with a friend, and she wants to get a breast lift, and she does not have a high yield savings account. And I said, by the end of this month, you're going to have a high yield savings account, and you're going to name like.
I love it. Let's get our titties together and our money together.
Literally, that's exactly what I said. And I was like, you can call it like what did I call it?
You said something with titties. That's all
I know, yeah. It was something, but you can name it, so it's like aspirational and fun, and like then you get excited about it, you know. I called it the Big Titty Committee.
Yes. I was thinking
Like,
the itty
name
bitty
it-
titty committee.
Yeah,
but
like name it the Big Titty Committee, and like how fun is that? So then when you look at your account and you're putting $20 in or $40, whatever it is, you know you're growing towards something.
excited about
You're
it.
excited.
I also think it's easier for people to visualize. Like, so let's say you have $10,000 in a high yield savings account, but that $10,000 might be $5,000 for the emergency fund, $2,000 for traveling, $2,000, whatever it may be, the breakdown. And people have a hard time visualizing that
When it's
all
all
clumped
together.
I feel as though just from a visualization standpoint and ease of understanding, having those buckets for certain individuals can be like completely game changing.
I have it all in one lump sum because
But that
I'm
might-
single.
it also might
I
work
don't
for you,
pay
though.
rent or utilities. My only bills when I leave America are my phone bill, which I'm prepaid, so I just cancel it, and my gym membership. Those are the two
Yeah, that's
bills
amazing.
that I reinstate. When
And
I
that's the
come back.
personal and personal
That's crazy.
finance. It's like you got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the buckets are great because, like, we could have a bucket for, like, our kids' track out camp and swim lessons and planning for birthdays or vacations, but, like, seeing it broken down because you can then also set goals. So if you know you're working towards, okay, I want 5,000 here or 500 here, then you know, okay, this needs to go in this bucket versus this bucket. So I think it helps people stay more organized. And then again, naming them, I think is just a fun way to like work towards that goal.
You can also break down. So, for example, like if you have two buckets and you want 60% of what you contribute to go into one bucket and 40% to go into the other bucket, you can set that up so that it automatically does that.
It does
So
the math.
one less step for you to have to do.
Yeah, it's time to automate your life. I like to help my
Yes.
clients stop the whole checking account, savings account rodeo and just simplify things and help them move their paychecks away from getting paid to their checking so they transfer to savings. It's like just get your paycheck directly into your high yield savings. So while you wait to pay your bills from that, you're generating interest
See, that wouldn't work for
daily.
us because we have most of our, I think all of our bills are on auto pay. So they need to pull from a checking account.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They all, you've tried and they're like.
Yeah, because I
no.
can't, I'm not, with all the bills that we have.
Only have a certain number of transactions you can have come out of your savings account.
And then
before
you,
get
then you would have
charged.
to manually do
Oh,
it, and I'm not
yeah.
going to do two buckets. So,
Yeah.
But we are the people that like at the end of the month, it's like you open up your checking account app and you're like, I have $2.19, and then you're like, I'm poor. But then you remember we saved, we invested, all of our bills are paid, fridge is full, pantry stocked, kids are good, great. You know, like all of our money has a job. You know, we gave our money a job. So.
I mean, I pay all my bills are my credit cards, really.
Yeah.
So I don't have utilities. So I pay my credit cards directly from my high yield savings.
I wish
yeah.
we could put all our bills on our credit card.
I know. Give me all my
Get all
points and
those points.
miles. Yes. And my mortgage. The mortgage would be amazing. I'm like, how can we figure out? What is it? Built?
Not sure.
That does the apartment payments? Like if you
Oh,
are
I've seen the ads for
renting?
that. They target me. I'm like, I don't pay rent, y'all. Why are we targeting me?
Yeah, but
Listen to the
oh
wrong
my gosh,
conversation.
I'm like, figure out how to do it with the mortgage, please.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All those points. Oh, we'd be living large.
Imagine.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Do you have budgeting dates, or do you have like weekly sexy money dates where you pop a bottle and talk dirty about money?
I wouldn't say it looks like that quite, but
It's also not weekly.
Yeah,
we
we
talk
don't-
about money all the time, like every day.
yeah, some aspect.
Yeah.
But we have like formal meetings where like we'll have a specific agenda that we're looking to go over, but then also just checking to make sure that everything is how we want it to be, mainly from like a budgeting standpoint. But
And planning. A lot of our money goes towards vacations, so we're planning for vacations. So what is that going to look like? What are the flights likely going to be? Where do we want to stay? Where do we have points? Where do we have miles? How are we going to optimize? But yeah, I mean, life happens. Like, he tore his Achilles earlier this year. Our out-of-pocket was super high. So, you know, between that, I have physical therapy, our daughter goes to therapy, like, I mean, it adds up quickly, you know? So if you're not having the conversations of, like, where's the money going? What's, you know, where are we going to finish a bill versus what kind of bill is upcoming? You have to stay aligned. We have to make sure that, like, we know what the other person wants or needs to spend money on. Like, I have chronic back issues, and I told him, I was like, I need a new mattress. Like, I have to figure something out. This is not working. And so he was like, okay, just make sure that whatever mattress you buy has, like, a really, really good guarantee. And so I ended up spending, like, $2,400 on a mattress.
Yeah, I had a client pay $5,000 for a mattress, but
Ooh.
you spend like a third of your life asleep.
Exactly.
So it's an investment.
Exactly. And it had a 365-day guarantee. So, you know, that's a big purchase. We don't normally spend $2,400 at a time on one thing. And so those were things where we talked about, like, you know, his kind of hard line was, like, make sure it has a good money back guarantee or some sort of guarantee. But
she can be indecisive sometimes.
We talk about money all the time, and I think it's really important. We have a framework to help couples talk about money called DREAM.
Oh,
and
tell us about that.
Ooh, okay, so it's an acronym. D stands for dive. So we want you to actually dive into your past to understand where your mindset around money comes from. So is it rooted in trauma? Is it rooted in scarcity? Is it rooted in abundance? Like, what did you hear growing up about money? What do you remember about holidays, birthdays, like celebrations? Like, we all have, like, money stuff. We can all remember stuff about our childhood. I mean, we talked about it on the pod with you as well. And so we really need to start with, like, where does your money mindset come from? Then the R is for reflect. So taking all that information and reflecting on how does that show up in my life right now? Am I hoarding my money because I am coming from a scarcity mindset? Do I spend all of my money because I'm coming from a scarcity mindset and it's like easy come, easy go, right? Like, people operate in different ways, even if an experience is similar.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand, like, how is that showing up? Like, what am I doing? Do I have anxiety every time I swipe my card? Am I terrified to pay bills? Am I terrified to look at my accounts or open my bills? Like, figure out how that's showing up so that you can work towards fixing it. The E is for engage. So this is where you actually talk to your partner about those first two letters. Like, here's how I grew up with money. Here's my understanding. Here's what I wish I would have done differently, better, etc. Right? Like, actually figure out how that is showing up in your relationship. And then this is the part where we want you to actually figure out, like, what does a happy life look like? Where does that dream life look like as a couple? And so this is where we want you to just dream audaciously, right? Is it the big house? Is it the fancy car? Is it living abroad for a year at a time? Like, whatever it is, there is no right or wrong answer, but, like, have a very vivid plan of what you want your life to look like. And then, unfortunately, at some point we have to get to the numbers. So A is for act. This is where you actually take time to figure out, what does the budget look like? How do we back into those goals? How do we get that home renovation done with the money that we have? Do we need to start a side hustle? Whatever that might be, like, you need to actually put a plan in place. And then life changes. Like, maybe you get married, maybe you add children, maybe you add a dog, maybe you add caretaking for elderly parents. Like, all of that changes, so you actually have to manage the plan that you put in place during ACT. And so it's just that kind of continuous cycle of, like, dreaming big together, putting a plan in place, talking about it consistently, and then managing that so that you can achieve your goals together.
I love that. And people who are single can do this too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, if you're single, like, use it to get ready for a relationship if that's what you're looking for. Because we all know you have to do the work before you enter into a relationship for it to be a good one.
Single for 3 years, and I am doing the work.
Do the
still.
work.
It never
Yes.
ends.
Yes.
Because a partner is your biggest investment.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
Of your
100%.
life. And I also want to be with somebody who I can nerd out about money with.
I know, it's the
nonstop.
best.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
This was awesome. I'm super happy that we met
Yes.
at FinCon and have stayed in touch. through the internet, where can folks find you?
Yeah, we're at the Sugar Daddy Podcast on all platforms. I think we do the most on Instagram, but Brandon is getting ready to ramp up our YouTube.
Yeah, we already have some videos there, but I want to improve them, honestly.
And we drop new episodes on our podcast that you can find anywhere you listen to your podcasts every Wednesday.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks,
thank you
Charly,
for
for
having
having us.
Woo!
Woo! This is fun.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much for listening and dropping into today's episode. If you want to connect with me and work one-on-one on your money goals, I invite you to book a call to learn more about how I can help you with my money coaching program. I work with folks one-on-one long-term so that you can twerk your way to early retirement. I also want to invite you, if you haven't yet, to join my Unicorn Millionaire newsletter. I love dropping money gems through my newsletter right to your inbox, and I share my latest updates and invites to my free personal finance classes. What is better than that? And getting them from an MB who is queer and can't stop, won't stop talking about that Roth IRA freak life. So get that juicy goodness at the link in the show notes, and don't forget to visit my blog, unicornmillionaire.com, and come twerk along with me on Instagram at Traveler Charly. That's Traveler Charly with a Y, because that's how they spell it down in Mexico. The information contained in the Unicorn Millionaire podcast is provided for general informational use only. Your purchase, download, and use of this material does not constitute a client relationship. The views expressed by the Unicorn Millionaire podcast hosts and guests are not intended to constitute accountant, legal, tax, certified financial planner, stock advisor, or other professional advice. Users of this podcast material should not act upon this information. Users of this podcast material should do their own due diligence by independently verifying all information, products, and services mentioned with their own qualified professionals before making any decisions. We assume no responsibility for information contained in the Unicorn Millionaire podcast and disclaim all liability with respect to errors, inaccuracies, omissions, misleading, or defamatory statements. Users of this podcast accept and understand the terms of the disclaimer.